Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Story number 1. Don't Touch Their Boats, written by Damaged Dice DM. Human space culture has long been compared to early human seafaring culture. Most of their rank designations are either directly from early naval terminology or very closely derived from it. It has the same sense of exploration and adventure. Space also attracts the same kind of human that would have been attracted to the sea all those years ago. Superstitious, brave, adventurous, tough. Humans evolving on Class 14 Deathworld may have stunted their early progress in gaining technological knowledge. When everything is trying to kill you, things like math take a back seat. That is, until they found out math could help you kill those things, at least. Due to their circumstance, they were late to the intergalactic travel scene and were widely regarded as backwater hillbillies. No one wanted to trade or ally with them, so they kept to themselves, mostly. That proved pretty easy since the Milky Way was unpopulated beyond the humans and one other race. They hopped from planet to planet, dropping colonists on worlds that no other race would even try to colonize, while using technology they had developed to save their own planet from ecological disaster, began terraforming these systems into livable colonies. They were all still generally Deathworlds at this point, but most in the Class 1 to 6 range, and the main reason for that is they seemed to insist on bringing many of the native beasts from their home world. The other residents of the Milky Way was the Negad, was much more advanced, evolving on a utopian world. Gave them early advantage in reaching FTL travel, but they didn't colonize worlds very often, picking only the best worlds to even attempt to do so, and only once their population was beginning to burgeon in the systems they had. As you can imagine, it was only a matter of time until the galaxy was divided between the humans and the Negad. War was inevitable, and small skirmishes broke out all over the sector, but it was the Negad that started their war in earnest. Their advisors informed them that they would lose to the humans due to the number of ships that they had fielded. They suggested a first strike against the naval yards of the humans to cripple them. The sneak attack worked, hundreds of human ships and thousands of human lives lost in the span of a few hours. The Negad retreated from system to join the main assault fleet. They considered it a victory and a turning point in the war. While it was a turning point, it was not in the Negad's favor, for they were about to learn an old human maximum. Don't touch our boats. Words traveled fast in the human-held systems, and the war machines chunked to life. Civilian manufacturing ground to a still. People turned in old equipment to be melted down for the war effort. The young men and women of the colonists volunteered en masse to the human galactic navy. The Negads had woken a human trait that had not been seen in thousands of years. When faced with insurmountable odds, changed them. They didn't build for show, they produced a brick with FTL drive and as much weaponry as the hull could take. They built guns under guns that would eject the overheated or damaged gun above it and pop out spitting fire. They built ships the size of a football field that were so jam-packed with missiles and bombs that they only fit a crew of 5 on board. They slugged it out with the Negads for every inch of the Milky Way, taking some losses and some wins in the process. But much like their ancestors, when the chips were down, they turned to math again to do their killing. The human scientists figure out how to compress a star back into a black hole and contain it in a warhead. They send ships equipped with them to all Negad-held worlds, even those that were originally human colony worlds they had lost in the war. Every Negad was wiped out from the Milky Way in a single day, but the galaxy was now pockmarked with unstable wormholes that would take a millennia to stabilize. But it was seen as the price that they must pay to teach the oldest lesson in naval tradition: don't feck with our boats. End of story. Story number 2. The Void Will Stare Back, written by Fimer Galathon. Humans, at first glance, average in everything. Strength, not the best, not the worst. Logical intelligence, a little above the Federation standard. Aggressiveness differs from specimen to specimen, but still average. Speed, senses, communication methods, all average. And yet, they are the most unique species, because you see, humans have the spark. Yes, the spark. This is what drives them forward. It glimmers in their eyes, ready to transform into a raging fire. It makes them do weird, stupid things. It makes them forego the primal need to survive. They aren't cut to simply survive. They have to live. It transpires everywhere in their culture. I can't even conceive half the things a human toddler can do while playing with the spark. Just playing. Only to sedate boredom. The creativity of a human is abhorrent. So much of everything that can be closed in a sentence. The deepest secrets of the universe that show through in a kid's painting. The sheer power that their spark produces that can scar you for life. For me, it seems like they just popped into existence and started creating. It makes me churn in my skeleton. Humans don't realize this. The way everybody shies away from their line of sight. The way every single one person from outside their species just goes catatonic when they start to create. It's something completely normal for them. This need to imagine things that don't exist, to will them into the real planes, to exchange and twist and draw and write and sing and create. When we first found them, the emissaries that were sent returned changed. The human spark made them shine. It made them buzz with the same restless energy that the humans exude. This effect faded with time, leaving them empty, lacking something they never needed. And their home world, Terra, Gaja, Earth, Sol 3, that planet, I saw it once, from the orbit. My mind is still reeling back from the sheer beauty of that world. It was thrumming with a life that was so constantly under the spark's influence. I blacked out for 4 fractions of a spin of my home planet, overwhelmed. What did I see down there? I could only try to deduce. I'm deeply afraid of the spark. I'm deeply afraid of humankind, of their creation, of their power, of their way their minds was wired, that lets them do things that wouldn't be possible for a normal being. And humans are still clueless about that, remarking that our cities are dull and boring, offering their help in making them more cheerful, letting us into their worlds, making us see the mind-numbing beauty of gazing upon the creation itself, telling us that they find our culture extremely weird. For it is completely ordinated and born out of millennia of painstaking putting a brick over a brick, with regard only to practicality. Is this really the escapes of their imagination? That we are lacking their spark, that we can't do creative things only? Seems fitting. They are like miniature gods, that with one blink can make reality change to their will. That can look upon a rock and see countless possibilities, that marvel at us and our homes, because we aren't so powerful, and they, like the kids they are, can't understand why. Why we don't create, why we can't understand their jokes, why it took us a millennia before we achieved a fraction of what they have achieved in a mere century. Yes, they are the only true kids of the universe, the humankind, the lesser creators, the children of the stars. They are the only ones that fit in this universe. They can be either because they were tailored for it, or because it was tailored for them. And I don't know what terrifies me more. There is this saying, if you stare into the void, it'll stare back. Makes no sense, right? Not for us. Never for us. How could it? Only for them. The void will stare back only for them. There is nothing average in a human. Nothing. Even their body seems to be. And you, what do you think? Are they like us? creatures of flesh and bone, bound to the earth we walk on? Or are they something else? Something outside our realm of living? End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.